Hey everybody, hope you're all doing good. Time for another latest installment of my YouTube channel, Fishing Tips. I'm just going to take a chance to really talk about spring fishing a little bit, some of the conditions we got going on right here. But, hope you're all hanging in there. I think we're all sort of getting settled into a routine around this new reality that we found ourselves in. And, speaking from a tournament side of it, I don't think a lot of us know what's coming up as far as down the road with the season goes. We're just sort of having to be patient, like everybody else in there. But anyway, been spending a lot of time, been doing work, some work for my sponsors, a lot of different blog writing type stuff, in between, just the daily activities, daily chores. But one of the things I wanted to do today is to put together, or to really sort of give you a few tips on some situational stuff we have around the country, and that is springtime flipping. And if it's like it is, here in Missouri, like I said, we've had high water all year long. Water's up in the bushes here right now. In a lot of places in the country, it's the same way. And even if it's not, mid-April is one of the best times that you can have for catching bass, flipping and pitching, which is one of my favorite, ways to catch fish. But a few tips I really wanted to share with you on this, and a lot of it has to do with the technique itself, because flipping, I think that flipping is second to jerk baits as far as the most difficult technique to really master, because there's so many aspects and so many variables about it. And for example, with flipping, you have a lot of different things to consider. You have the bait, you have the bait profile, you have the line size, you have the weight size, you have your hook configuration, you have the angles, you have the type of cover that you're going to be flipping in, you have how long you leave the bait in there before you move it. I mean, it goes on and on and on as far as things that lead up to the ultimate success. But what I wanted to do is I just want to give you like a starting point of where to start with. First of all, one of the big keys in the springtime flipping is you need to downsize your weight size, because anytime those bass are getting ready to bed or bedding or just off the bed, a lot of times they like a little bit slower fall this time of year. And I know a lot of anglers have really gotten this mentality in where they go to straight half-ounce weight or more all the time. And by doing that, you miss out on a lot of the bites that you can get on a slower fall, particularly if you have cover that's got a pretty heavy stain to it. So my favorite weight to flip with during April, this time of year, when you have water visibilities like less than 2 foot, is an 1/8 or 3/16 ounce sinker for that slow fall. And I'm pairing that up on like a Zoom, Z-Hawk Jr., Brush Hog, Z-Cross, some of the creature type baits that give it a nice slow fall. And another thing that I do on that is, I use monofilament line Seaguar and VizX 20-25 pound tests most all the time for my flipping. The only time I do use braid for punching and that type of stuff, but I think a lot of people have gotten into this mentality that they use braid all the time for flipping, and you simply don't need it, because I really think that if you're tying braid directly to a bait, and if you're fishing around cover like laydowns or some bushes or sparser cover, that you're going to sacrifice a lot of bites with that braided line that those fish can see a lot better. So the big advice I give you to that, unless you're punching or unless you're fishing super dirty, super shallow water with heavier weights, go to the fluorocarbon and stay with that fluorocarbon. You'll get more bites, and you're not going to lose hardly any fish doing it. So, like I said, I think a lot of people there's two trends that I've noticed in bass fishing that people have sort of latched onto simply because it's sort of a herd mentality, and that is braided line for flipping all the time and braided fluorocarbon on spinning outfits. So, like I said, don't feel like you have to adhere to that mold, because other applications are just as effective. So, anyway, lighter weights, fluorocarbon line, and normally during the spawn time of the year, I'm going away from jigs a little bit more, and I'm going to more of the creature baits, and even like the soft stick baits, like the Zoom Slinky, or the Cinco type bait, that type of thing. Those creature type baits and the smaller profile baits are going to get you a lot more bites anytime that water temperature is in that 60-degree range, and anytime those fish are sort of in that spawning personality. And also as well, make sure that you make, long pitches to the fish. I mean, if you're fishing super, super dirty water with thick cover, you can use the flipping technique, but you're going to get a lot more bites this time of year if you're fishing any cover that's not super thick by making really long pitches to it. Those fish are pretty aware. Those big fish don't like to be shallow. They don't stay up there very long, and when they do, they're a little bit skittish. So making those longer pitches is going to be key on that. And also when you're, trying to decide what type of areas to look for when you're pitching and flipping, realize that all the bass aren't doing the same thing all the time. If you're fishing, flooded bushes or laydowns or whatever, that type of stuff, don't just get locked into thinking those fish are going to be in the backs of the coves or in the spawning type areas, because there's going to be a lot of fish that are still, early spawners, maybe some that are late spawners that are using a lot of different type of covers. So the best thing that I can tell you on that is, once you get into an area, say like a cove, just really take time to pick the whole thing apart and fish it slow, particularly around some cover that's not quite as obvious as everything else. But anyway, great time of year for flipping right now. It's probably the best time of year to catch a big one flipping if you're going to do that. And we've got a lot of it going on around here in Missouri, and I've sort of switched up my instructional trips a little bit from the jerk baits to the finesse and the flipping. So anybody interested in getting on some great flipping, great finesse techniques, I've been doing trips at Table Rock, Stockton, Grand, anywhere around the Missouri area here. Shoot me a private message, we'll get something set up. Like I said, we're in between tournaments. Our tournaments are canceled, so a lot of us has a lot more time than we normally ever have this time of year. So I've been sort of filling my time a little bit with that more. So anyway, hope everybody's staying safe, doing well, and we'll check in later on. Talk to you later.